Gauranga Lila is Smaranam Mangala Stotram by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. 104 Sanskrit verses giving a condensed description of the most important pastimes and teachings of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. I meditate on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose form is manifested by his own spiritual potency and who took birth as the son of Jagannatha Mishra in the ocean of Srimati Sati Devi womb during an eclipse of the full moon in the month of Phalguna, February, in the year 1407 Shakabda, AD 1486, in the town of Mayapur in Bengal. I eternally meditate on Lord Gaura, who purified the age of Kali and who became known by the names Vishwambhara, Prabhu, Hari, Dvija, Gaura Chandra, Nimai, and Isha, in the kingdom of Bengal, which is the crown of all pious land. I bow down before Lord Hari, accepting the luster of Radha's delightful love. He assumed a charming golden complexion form. Playing in his childhood, he delighted the ladies of the neighborhood as he crawled in Jagannatha Mishra courtyard with Lord Ananta, who has assumed the form of an ordinary snake. He sat down in the courtyard, but again left when his relative began to cry. I repeatedly offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Vishwambhara. When in his childhood he heard the word Hari Bol, he would immediately stop crying. Because of this, the ladies of the village would always sing the holy names. When he had eaten clay, he spoke in pure spiritual truth to his mother. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Gaura Sundara, who became the shelter of the chant of the holy names, and who removed the impurities of age of Kali. In his boyhood, he did many pranks in the Brahmana's home. In his first day in the school, he and his friend splashed water on the great Brahmanas bathed in the Ganges and made them run. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the supreme prankster and the monarch of playful boys. He ate rice cooked by the Jew of pilgrimage Brahmanas, and later mercifully showed him the truth. Climbed on the shoulder with many tricks, he bewildered two thieves. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Chaitanya, who delights the pious and punishes the wicked. Climbing on the back of a mendicant, Shiva Bhakta, he left great bliss as he glorified Lord Shiva's virtues. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Gaura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is devotee of his devotees. Accepting the sweets, lovingly offered by Lakshmi, he offered her a beautiful benediction that pleased her heart. Later, he satisfies his relative by showing them the ink marks on his body. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the supreme playful thief of the heart. Sitting on rejected cooking pots, he spoke to his mother the highest philosophy. I eternally bow down before Lord Gaura Chandra, the supreme object of worship for they who travel on the path of monism. Seeing his mother suffering with a grave disease, with a son's love, the boy quickly brought her 2 white coconuts for medicine. I repeatedly offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Gauranga, who is his mother devotee. When his elder brother Vishwambhara left home to take sannyas, with sweet words Lord Gauranga consoled his grief-stricken father, and when his father died, he consoled his grieving mother. I meditate on pleasing Lord Gauranga, who is his mother devotee. Following the sacred rite of marriage, he accepted Srimati Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, and devotedly fulfilled his duty as a householder. A professional scholar, he traveled to East Bengal and earned great wealth by lecturing. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the best of husbands and the form of religious duty. he ordered pious Tapana Mishra to go and live in Benares, return home to find his mother mourning Lakshmi Devi's death. He consoled her with pleasant words describing the spiritual truth, a meditation on tranquil Lord Gauranga, who gives the happiness of renunciation. At his mother's request, he married Srimati Vishnupriya. On the bank of the Ganges, with his many disciples, he cut down the pride of Keshava Kashmir, who had conquered all direction, the jewel of learned scholar, and the moon of Navadvipa. He enjoyed many pastimes. I offer my respectful obeisance to him, the lion among the scholars. With playful logic defeating all Brahmanas Smarta, Nayayikas and Tantrikas in Navadvipa, he shone with great splendor. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Gaura, the form of transcendental knowledge. He became cured of a disease by drinking the water of a Brahmana's feet. I meditate on Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, the protector of Varnashram. Surrounded by Brahmanas and offered respect by all the demigods, he obtained the Hare Krishna mantra from the mouth of his guru at Gaya. When he returned to Bengal, on the pretext of suffering from a grave disease, he explained the actual truth. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the form of a devotee expert at tasting the 9 nectars of devotion. Ceaselessly discussing the truth of devotional service, the great devotees headed by Advaitacharya took shelter of him by chanting Lord Murari's holy names. When Nityananda came, Gaura displayed the Supreme Personality of Godhead pastime. I offer my respectful obeisance to all-powerful Lord Gaura, who revealing his 6-armed form delights the eyes. Suddenly displaying Lord Varaha's handsome form, he was very merciful to Murari Gupta. During the worship of Vyasa, he became Balaram and began to call for Madhvika liquor. I meditate on him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Confident that Lord Chaitanya is in reality Lord Krishna, Lord Advaita Chandra and his associate worshipped him at Srivasa's house. I remember Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the shelter of Sridhara and the other devotees. Revealing his transcendental qualities, he purified Srivasa Muslim servant and transformed him into a pure devotee. I meditate on the golden moon of Lord Gaura, who is free of all material desire and maddened with pure love. Happy to hear Physician Murari Gupta's prayer glorifying Lord Rama. He assumed the form of Lord Rama. He also mercifully freed the devotee Mukunda from bad association. I meditate on him, the philanthropist that gives the sweet nectar of pure devotional service. The Lord ordered his 2 Avaduta devotees, Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, to give the holy names of Lord Krishna, the Master of Gokula, to all living entities, high and low, in all towns and villages, everywhere. I meditate on Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who mercifully descended to this world. Going with his elder brother to Advaitacharya's home, he spoke the pure truth to a wine-drinking hypocrite sannyas in Lalita Puri. I meditate on Lord Chaitanya, the auspicious abode of pure devotional service. When Advaitacharya began to preach the fraud known as impersonal monism, Lord Chaitanya suddenly started to beat him on the back, lovingly forcing him again to the path of devotional service. I eternally meditate on Lord Chaitanya, who removes the illusion of Maya. At Chandrasekhara's house, he manifested the form of Lakshmi Devi and fed with his milk the devotees present, who were all plunged in the ocean of pure devotional service. He showed his transcendental opulence to Vijayadasa and delivered him. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the abode of all transcendental potencies and opulence. Accompanied by his devotees, he traveled to Godrum and many other villages, where he enjoyed many pastimes, bathed, ate, and continually chanted the holy names, hardly sleeping. Throughout the entire day, I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who grants the happiness of pure devotional service. Accompanied by his Sankirtana party, headed by Srinivasacharya, he filled with pure love of God the hearts of Jagadananda Vipra and many other fallen and sinful Brahmanas there. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who is an ocean of pure love of God and the shelter of the fallen. By being filled with ecstatic love, he taught devotion to all the devotees. Merciful at heart, he washed away their faults. The givers of liberation, he explained devotional service in the company of devotees. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the form of forgiveness of the devotees' faults. After liberating Chandakazi, the great enemy of the bliss of Sankirtan, again and again the Lord danced and chanted Krishna's holy name in all the towns and villages. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who cured Kali's disease, whose arms are very long, and who ecstatically dances in Navadvip Dham. Gangadasa, the physician Murari Gupta, Kulavecha, Sridhara, and Shuklambhara Brahmachari were full of love and devotion for him. Srila Narayani Devi was delighted to eat the remnants of his meal. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the Supreme Person, whose form is splendid and transcendental. Overwhelmed with love, he made Srivas Thakur hear the supremely auspicious truths from the mouth of his dead son. I bow down before Lord Gaura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free of all duplicity, who delivers the living entity, and who gives to his servant an auspicious conception of life. When he was overwhelmed by the gopis' love, some fools criticized him. When, with stick in hand, the Lord struck them, they became enemies and planned their revenge. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who became a splendid lion to punish those averse to him. With a mind to remove their offenses, when he was 24 years old, he accepted sannyas from Keshava Bharati at Katwa in the month of Magha. I meditate on Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by the learned, his head shaved and a danda in his hand. Renounced his home and relatives in Navadvipa and conquered by Nityananda's love, Krishna Chaitanya Chandra wandered to the town of Shantipur. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who wished to go to Vraja. The Lord Mother was brought there. Simultaneously, joyful and grieving, she fed and protected her son for some days. Devotedly obeying his mother's order, the Lord went to Jagannath Puri. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, whose journey made the entire country auspicious, and who is the king of sannyasis. He journeyed with Nityananda, intelligent Jagadananda, Damodara, and Mukunda Datta, who was expert singing about Krishna's pastime, all devoted bumblebees, drinking the honey of the lotus feet. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, whose form is most dear to the devotees. Leaving the Ganges shore and the water from the Lord Mahesha in the beautiful gardens of Orissa, he saw Kshira Chora Gopinath, and in the village of Katwa, he saw his own form of Lord Shakshi Gopal. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who became absorbed in his own devotional service. in the forest of Ekambra, he offered obeisance to a Shiva Linga. When he went to the auspicious town of Kapotaka and set down his danda, Nityananda broke it. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who is disguised as a human being and who is a devotee of his devotees. Pretended to be angry when his danda was broken. The Lord left his associates and quickly went alone to Jagannath Puri. Seeing Lord Krishna's form, he became filled with ecstatic love. I meditated on golden Lord Gauranga, who gave up his danda. Sarvabhauma service, when the Lord was tasting the ecstasy of love, destroyed all unwanted material impurities in his heart. And by the Lord's powerful mercy, he became a Vaishnava. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the form of preaching the Vedic truth. After staying there for some days, he went to the south. At Kurmakshetra, he cured the leper Vasudeva, and at Vijayanagara, he gave Ramananda Roy the ocean of pure love of God. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who gives great pleasure to the people and who is the personified form of all holy places. Distributing pure love of Krishna wherever he went, he stayed for some days with Venkatabhata's family in Rangakshetra. He mercifully made the Bhattacharya's devotees of Lord Krishna. I meditate on Lord Gaura, who is the ocean of happiness for the home of Gopala Bhatta. By preaching pure devotional service and by his own transcendental potency, he converted all the Buddhists, Jains, atheists, Tattvavadis, and persons falling into the lake of Mayavada philosophy into auspicious pure devotees of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Gaura Chandra, the purifier of the mental speculators. After giving to the people of the south the bliss that removed the impurities of Kali, accompanied by Krishna Dasa and bringing two devotional books, Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita, he went to Jagannath Puri on the road to Alalanatha. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the jubilant protector of the devotees. As splendid as pure gold, he stayed the Brahmana's Kashri Mishra house, accompanied by Swarupa Damodara and other associates. He always gave to everyone the spiritual bliss of the holy name. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, whose jubilant form is surrounded by his associates. Dancing and singing Lord Hari's glories with the devotees as Jagannatha rode on his chariot before them, he flooded with love King Prataparuda and the other pure devotees of Orissa. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who is an ocean of transcendental bliss and the personification of ecstatic love of God. Leaving his Orissans associating at the border, he went to Bengal and meditated Sati Devi's divine son. I meditate on Lord Gaura, who saw Srivas Thakur, Vasudeva Dasa, and Raghava Pandita at their homes, and then went to Shantipur. I worship Lord Gaura, who visited the home Vidya Vaschaspati Dasa in Vidyanagara, and then went to Koliagram and Navadvip, because he humbly worshipped the devotees. Devananda in Kuliyanagara attained Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, which cannot be purchased by any amount of wealth, followers, beauty, or learning. I bow down before Lord Gaura, who is only attained by the pure devotional service of the pure and the wise. On the pretext of going to see Vrindavana, he affectionately saw his mother in the land of Bengal, delivered Rupa Goswami and his elder brother Sanatana Goswami from the mouths of the Muslims, and then returned to Orissa. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose heart becomes joyful to deliver the devotees. leaving the associate of many devotees, taking only Balabhadra Bhattacharya with him, and by his transcendental potency, making the bears, tigers, and odd wild animals mad with bliss. The independent Lord yearned, his heart fixed on Vrindavana, and meditated on Lord Gaura Chandra, who enchanted the mind of animals with his own spiritual bliss. Seeing the hills, rivers, and villages in Vrindavana, he fainted, overcome with ecstatic love by remembering his pastime there before. For this reason, Balabhadra made him leave the forest of Raja, and meditate on Lord Gauranga, who was submissive to his devotee and overcome with ecstasy. Seeing him overcome with ecstasy, some fortunate Mlechas, because of their pure hearts, obtained his mercy. By his mercy they became pure devotees, overcome with love, and meditate on supremely pure Lord Gauranga, who removes the impurity of low birth. At the sacred junctions of the Ganga and Jamuna, he taught to Srila Rupa Goswami the nectar of transcendental mellows, and to wise Vallabhacharya pure love for the master of Gokula. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the personified Vedic scripture, and the Jew among teachers of transcendental mellows. At Varanasi, by his devotees' mercy, he flooded with love the nectarless monist and gave Rupa Goswami's elder brother the power to write books about Vishnu Bhakti. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Gauranga, the spiritual master of those experts at devotional service. Pathetic are they who, scorched by dry logic, do not bow down before Lord Gauranga. Saying this again and again, he exalted Shankara sannyasis, worshipped him. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who was agitated with transcendental bliss. When he returned to Jagannath Puri, he gave pleasure to the devotees. With words of love, he rained the nectar of Lord Hari on Ramananda Roy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and the others. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who tasted the nectar of talking about Lord Hari. Year after year, at the time of Ratayatra, the great devotees would travel from Bengal to see his lotus feet, which are worshipped by Brahma and Shiva. Attaining great satisfaction at heart, they then left Orissa and meditate on him, the king of sannyasis and the supreme friend of the Bengali devotees. To protect his sannyasis follower from the vices that follow from talking with women, he was very happy as he rejected Chota Haridas for a small offense. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, whose activities are faultless and who is the personification of sincere devotee. He very mercifully taught Pradyumna Mishra the secret that a person who because of past karma takes birth in a low family may become a spiritual master by intelligently understanding the truth of spiritual life. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who is free of folly and who is a bumblebee, relishing the virtues of others. Conquered by his devotional service, with the Father's love, he directly taught Raghunatha Das Goswami the truth of devotional service. At the last part of his pastime, by the shore of the sea, he made Raghunatha Dasa his servant. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, the friend of they who take shelter of his feet. He always tolerated the offenses of Ramachandra Puri, who was fond of blaspheming his superiors, and who had become bewildered and fallen into the muddy well of quarrelsomeness. The Lord accepted Amoha because he attained a little fragment of a devotee's mercy. May Sati Devi's son eternally travel on the path of my memory. By touching him, the Lord mercifully cured Sanatana Goswami, who was afflicted with the disease of itching sores. The Lord also purified Sanatana of the desire to commit suicide. I meditate on Lord Gaura, the hero of Navadvip. The independent Lord protected Ramananda Roy's younger brother, Gopinatha Panatayaka, from Maharaj Prataparudra's wrath. The Lord taught Gopinatha about piety, saying that one should not collect money by sinful means. I meditate on Lord Gauranga, who is the personification of auspiciousness and who grants auspiciousness to his devotees. I always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Gaura, who again and again accepted the gifts his devotees Raghava Pandita brought from his own country, Bengal. I meditate upon Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. He strictly following the rules of sannyasa. He refused to accept the oil offered by Jagadananda Pandita. In Lord Jagannatha's temple, by the Garuda Stamba, an old woman, overwhelmed with devotion, saw the deity by climbing on Lord Chaitanya's shoulders. May Sati's son, the Supremely Lord Hari, whose heart was pleased by that woman, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son, who worshipped Ishvarapuri as his guru, who was affectionately merciful to his pure servant Govinda, and who taught Swarupa Damodara about devotional love in Madhura Rasa, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son, whose form, splendid as Mount Sumeru, was clothed in a saffron kopina, and whose eyes flowed rivers of tears as he chanted the names of Radha and Krishna, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son happily and loudly chant Lord Hari's sweet holy names, dancing with his men in a procession slowly moving through the city's streets and plentifully begging, please chant the 2 syllables, Hari, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May the kind Lord, who is Sati's son, and who very mercifully described the 10 phases of pure love that are the Shastra's secret, hidden in the Shruti and unknown to the previous sages, eternally travel on the path of my memory. I worship Lord Hari Gaura Chandra, who teaches us Hari, the Almighty, is one without a second. He is always vested with infinite power. He is the ocean of rasa, the transcendental bliss, which form the sense of any relationship. This soul is his vibhinansa, or separated part. Certain souls are engrossed by Prakriti, his illusory energy. Certain souls are released from the grasp of Prakriti. All spiritual and material phenomena are Bheda Prakash of Hari, the Almighty, simultaneously one and different with the Lord. Bhakti, devotional service, is the only means of attaining the final object of spiritual excellence. And Prem, pure love in Krishna, is alone the final object of spiritual existence. Perfect knowledge is received from Brahma and other devotees dear to Lord Hari. The preceding 9 actions are the summary of all truth. Sense perception is not a good source of knowledge. Reasons and logic have no power to enter the truth. Lord Hari is one without a second. Brahma, Shiva and Indra bow before him. The non-material Brahman is his bodily effulgency. The super soul is a portion of him. The universe is subordinate to him. He is the father of the universe. He is Radha lover. He is splendid as a fresh monsoon cloud. He is perfectly spiritual. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is not different from his spiritual potency, who is situated in his own glory, whose every desire is at once fulfilled, who is the controller of everything, who never changes, and whose potency has 3 parts: his personal, superior potency, the living entity, and the inanimate material nature. All glories to Lord Hari, who enjoys the love transformation of the Ladini potency and the ecstasies of Samvit potency, and who is the splendid spiritual abode created by his Sandini potency, enjoys nectar pastime in Vraja, plunged in the ocean of nectar. Just as a spark are to a great fire, and particles of sunlight are to the sun, the living entities are spiritual atoms manifested from Lord Hari. Lord Hari is the Supreme Master of the material nature, and the illusory potency Maya is under his control. A living entity, even a liberated soul, may be placed under Maya's control. Seeing the living entities averse to Krishna, intent on their own pleasure, ignorant of their spiritual nature, and deserving punishment as they are bound by the chains of the modes of nature, Maya covers them with the gross and subtle coverings, and binding them with chains of karma that bring many sufferings, leads these fallen souls up and down through the heavenly and hellish material worlds. Wandering and wandering, sometimes seeing a pure Vaishnava from whom streams the nectar of Lord Hari, attracted to follow him, turning to Krishna, and gradually abandoning materialism, one assumes his original spiritual form and enjoys the most splendid and pure nectar. All spiritual and matter is the transformation of Lord Hari's energy. The theory that everything is a transformation of the Supreme itself is an impurity spawned by the age of Kali and contradicts the actual Vedic idea. The Vedas establish the pure truth that everything is simultaneously one and different from Lord Hari, and therefore perfect spiritual love may be eternally manifest. The 9 different forms of devotional service to Lord Hari are: 1. To hear of the spiritual name, form, attributes, and Lila pastimes of Krishna. 2. To utter and sing all those. 3. To meditate and reiterate all those. 4. Service of his holy feet. 5. Worship. 6. Bowing down. 7. Doing all that pleases him. 8. Friendship. 9. Resignation. Faithfully worshipping Lord Hari every day, one attains pure love for him. In his original spiritual form, the pure love of Madhura Rasa rises. Carrying in his heart pure love for Radha Krishna associates in Vraja, he attains blissful love, his happiness exceeding anything in the material world, and he also attains supreme devotional service in the Lord pastime. Considering the question, what is God? What is the living entity? What is this inanimate material world? A scholar learned in the Vedas worships Lord Hari, abandoning all offenses and the desire for impersonal liberation. He becomes Lord Hari's servant and drinks the nectar bliss of Lord Hari's holy name with the other devotees. Accepting these 10 axioms, abandoning ignorance, and remaining in the association of saintly devotees, one nourishes his love for Lord Hari and becomes happy. May Sati's son, the best of sannyasis, the unparalleled friend of the universe, his tall, blissful, effulgent, spiritual form, bathed in tears flowing from his eyes as he stated this truth to the devotees like bumblebees at his feet, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son, the shelter of the Bengals followers of Varnashram, the Orissans who are sincere, honest, and humble at heart, and the people in the Western countries who are compassionate and eager to learn the truth, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son, staying at Kashi Mishra's house, his heart long in separation from his Lord, very tall, because his joint had become loosed, his hands and feet elongated, his body falling on the ground, his voice choked, and his mind agitated, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son, who gone out from the stone house with its door still bolted, went among the Kalinga cows and fell down, become like a turtle, because his limb had contracted, eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son, who is remembering the forest of Vraja, overwhelmed with feelings of separation, rubbing his face and making it bleed, said, "Where is my beloved Krishna? Tell me, tell me, tell me," eternally travel on the path of my memory. May Sati's son Gaura, who to see regal Mount Govardhana in Vraja, happily run with his associated to the great sun June Chakata Parvata on the beach, eternally travel on the path of my memory. With devotion, I bow down before Lord Gaura Chandra, whose mercy delights the living entities, and who, rescuing Raghunatha Dasa from the blind well of material existence, gave him a Gunja necklace and a Govardhan Shila. I bow down before Lord Gaura, who, rejecting all arguments, opposing pure devotional service, and avoiding the association of non-devotees, shone with great splendor in the company of saintly devotees. With devotion I bow down before Lord Gaura Chandra, who, giving Lord Vishnu's holy names to the people of the world, became the purifier of the age of Kali, and who also gave the nectar of pure love to the intimate devotees. With devotion I bow before Lord Gaura Chandra, who, for they who take shelter of the name Chaitanya, destroy all offenses to the holy names, and who gives transcendental devotional service to the living entities. In this way, Lord Krishna Chaitanya Chandra enjoyed pastime for 24 years as a householder and another 24 years as a sannyasi. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Gaura, the spiritual master of all ashrams and all worlds. May Lord Gauranga, who mercifully gave clothing and money to the poor, who satisfied hungry guests with food and other gifts, and who in the same way gave great happiness by giving the gift of transcendental knowledge, eternally travel on the path of my memory. On the pretext of pilgrimage, he spent the first 6 years of sannyas in preaching devotional service, and the final 18 years he remained in Jagannath Puri. I offer my respectful obeisance to his transcendental pastime manifested in this world by the Yogamaya potency. Alas, alas, the devotees in all the world were overcome with grief when he, enchanting the devotees' eyes, suddenly disappeared at sunset during Sankirtana in the Gopinatha temple. I offer my respectful obeisance to his eternal spiritual pastime, which are no longer manifest in this world. Lord Krishna Chaitanya Chandra, the dearest friend and the jewel of the Brahmanas, grants pure love for the divine couple, Shri Radha Krishna, to those devotees who always sing, especially at Sri Mayapur, with a loud voice and a heart moisture with spiritual love. This song about Lord Gaura. In the month of Kartika, in the year 406 Chaitanya era, in Godrumadvipa, Bhaktivinoda composed this song glorifying the Lord pastime, which purified the entire world, because he desired to taste the pastime of the sweetness of her love. Nanda's son enjoyed pastime in Bengal. This wonderful song, filled with his pastime, is offered to her, King Vrishabhanu's daughter. Iti Shri Bhaktivinoda Virachitam Shri Srimad Gauranga Smaranam Mangala Stotram Samaptam. Thus ended the hymn called Gauranga Smaranam Mangala Stotram, composed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura.
Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhuva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave